Hi everyone, this is Jason Burack of Wall Street from Main Street. Today is Saturday, May 21st, 2016. I just wanted to do a short video today talking about some things going on in global financial markets. One of the major stories that I've noticed in the last week or so is that there's a lot of billionaires coming out and they're either talking about the markets drastically overvalued. So we have Carl Icahn stories, we have Stanley Druckenmiller stories, and we have George Soros' filings, and there's a number of other billionaires as well, people who have, been investing and trading in markets for decades. And these guys, especially Stanley Druckenmiller and George Soros, these guys are both billionaires. Druckenmiller was the chief investment strategist for George Soros' trading firm. They're buying lots of gold. This story in Bloomberg here talks about how George Soros has sold a lot of his stock positions. His largest U.S. stock holding now is Bitgold. He just bought a bunch of GLD calls, and he bought a bunch of puts now in the general stock market indices. And, Carl Icahn, who's another billionaire, he's, I think, 150% net short now of his total investments. So he thinks the market's drastically overvalued. I don't know if we're going to crash in the short term here, but, around the election time, maybe a little bit before or a little bit after, things are going to get pretty hectic, I think. If there is a major market crash, I think the Federal Reserve or other global central banks will panic and there will be more quantitative easing injections. These guys really do not like asset prices going low for that much longer because everything is so leveraged in the system, the derivatives market and etc., that the collateral, if it drops in value, things start going bad. I think that's why the large major investment banks help manipulate oil and base metals higher, because they didn't want to default on a lot of the oil and oil companies and mining companies immediately. So they've tried to delay it. Allow them to sell some shares, buy them some time, maybe reduce the amount of bankruptcies per quarter, although there's still going to be some. So I think there's massive amounts of manipulation right now. Why do you think George Soros is buying massive amount of gold exposure? He's done large gold trades in the past for short amount of periods of time, for a number of years, and he's gotten in and out and things like that and made some profits in buying stocks and gold. But this seems to me that he's shorting the market. I don't remember him being this heavily short the market before, and the same goes for some of these other major billionaires like Druckenmiller and Icahn and things like that. I also want to talk about the Bitgold. Bitgold in only a year has 1 million customers, which is pretty amazing. And then they also just added, I don't know if you guys saw in the emails, they just added a bunch of features, including if you own a business, you can now issue payroll in Bitgold. So your employees can sign up for Bitgold accounts and payroll can be paid in gold grams or gold ounces and things like that. And then also you can issue dividends in gold. So I think the way what's going is that gold, as these gold companies become more and more profitable going forward, hopefully if oil prices don't rise too much and the gold price stays at these levels or goes higher in the near future, they're going to have increased operating cash flow, they're going to have free cash flow, and they're going to consider dividends. And one of the ways that they can do dividends is to pay them in grams of gold on Bitgold. So that's something to consider. If there's really bad inflation, instead of you getting currency first, getting grams of gold and Bitgold in your home currency, that might save you in case of a bad inflationary environment. And then you can either take delivery of the gold or you can have it stored in different countries and things. I think this is a great business idea. I'd like to have Josh Crum or Roy Seabag or some of the other people from Bitgold back on. We had them on over a year ago as Bitgold was launching, I think in March of 2015. So hopefully we can have them on again soon to talk about how things are going at the business and their customers, how they're growing and stuff like that. But I think this is a great idea. It's very efficient and pretty cheap to store physical gold besides just having it at your house or something like that in multiple countries. I think it's a pretty efficient idea. And for my generation, Generation X and also the millennials who would not normally care about gold or know anything, this is a way to integrate gold with technology and mobile payments and things like that. And this brings in the more technologically savvy crowd who might not care about gold. They might say, wow, this is really cool. I can put some of my savings into gold and still have access to it with the Bitgold platform. So this is going to bring a whole new, more tech-savvy audience into the ability to own gold rather than just the older gold bug crowd. Wall Street from Main Street News, we're growing over 100,000 views per month. I just want to thank you guys again for that. I'm really excited. Mo and I want to thank you. The YouTube creator event was great last Friday. not yesterday, but the week before. I learned some interesting things about how to grow my channel, and I network with there was an eclectic group of YouTubers there, people with interesting channels. Not necessarily all my cup of tea, but, to each his own. But, in terms of Wall Street for Main Street, each month now, guys, we have over 1 million minutes watched on our channel. So that's great. That means people are coming to our channel and they're watching, listening to entire interviews, and they're checking out multiple interviews. So just keep that up, guys. And if your friends are interested learning how to invest, taking the complicated information from Wall Street and in easier to understand terms, or things of what's really going on in the financial markets, I think we're one of the best channels for that right now. So I want to thank you guys again. We're over 1.6 million views, on our way to 1.7, doing about 100,000, actually a little over 100,000 views per month now, and over 1 million minutes watched per month. Pretty amazing stuff. Still not making a lot of money at this yet, which is why, we can't self-fund. We do want to start a hedge fund, long short, partial options trading with, long straddles and things like that. And then also value investments, and using Sir John Templeton and other of the investing methodologies I've studied to find undervalued growth stocks at reasonable prices. And then, also fund our educational technology company. So if you guys do have referrals, if you have someone with a business background who's hired and fired people, who has raised capital, who has marketing expertise, those types of skills, then we would be interested in speaking to them. Obviously, we want someone who is familiar with at least the Austrian school, or at least respects it and doesn't hate it. So if they actually buy into the philosophy, that's one of our main core principles we want to teach people. We would also teach people the other economic schools and what we think is wrong with them. I think that's one thing about the Austrian school that is different from the other economic schools, is they actually spend time talking about what's wrong with, Marxism, and also Milton Friedman's monetarism and MMT and things like that. So, and obviously all the different forms of Keynesianism out there. So, thank you again for your time, guys. And just comment on why you think George Soros is, so actively long gold miners, buying GLD calls, and also shorting stock market, and why you think so many billionaires are now starting to get into gold, whereas in the past, these guys would have only bought stocks.